Good morning and welcome to Unity on the North Shore Virtual Sunday Service. Our speaker, Assistant Minister Reverend Christina Garza, will be doing the message today. Patti Ortega is our guest musician, and our prayer chaplain, Martin Taylor, will be speaking to us through the daily word. Now let's just take a moment before we begin, and let's begin with prayer. Grateful and loving God, with quiet minds and full hearts, we open ourselves to your power and presence. We gratefully receive the wonderful energies of divine light and love pouring in and through us now. And we affirm we are here in this place on this morning for a divine purpose. We trust that purpose is now being fulfilled, for we know we are now in the presence of pure being, immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. And so it is. Amen.
Please prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Please prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Please prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
Unity is a positive, practical approach for spiritual living based on the teachings of Jesus Christ and the power of prayer. We believe there is truth and beauty in every spiritual tradition, and so we honor the many paths to the one God. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey of faith, please know that you are always welcome here. Our vision and mission reflects who we are as a community and how we fulfill our spiritual purpose. So now let's speak our vision and mission statements aloud, for we know that by conscious intention and the power of the spoken word, we activate the power of God to express in our lives and in our world. First, our vision statement. The words on the screen, together, centered in spirit, we co-create a world that works for all. And now our mission. We are an empowering, diverse spiritual community experiencing spirit within to create a peaceful and prosperous world. If this is your first Sunday with us, we want to extend a loving welcome to you. Upon discovering unity, many felt, including myself, that unity felt like coming home. We hope your experience here today, this morning, is equally powerful and that you will return. We also invite you to join us in our virtual garden chat fellowship after this session. So stay on and chat with us.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. Peace is my source, peace is my power, peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, peace gives me everything I need. Let's sing about love. Love is my source, love is my power, love gives me everything that I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, love gives me everything I need. Joy, joy is my source, joy is my power, joy gives me everything that I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, joy gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So we give thanks for all our blessings, God gives us everything that we need.
Good morning. My name is Martin Taylor, and I'm serving as prayer chaplain this morning. Let's begin by reflecting together on today's daily word. As I read, allow the words you hear spoken to become a silent and powerful meditation within you. The daily word for today is divine order. Divine order is always unfolding in my life and in the world. As spring ripens into summer each year, new leaves transform bare trees into canopies of green. Tiny seedlings grow into sturdy plants and decorate the landscape with an array of colorful blossoms. I marvel at the divine order demonstrated as the earth renews itself. I recognize that even as the earth appeared barren in wintertime, new life was preparing to spring forth. I notice this pattern in my life. I may be demonstrating visible growth in my life, or, like the earth in winter, it may seem that my life is stagnant and barren. I remember that as the seasons of nature change, so do the seasons of my life. Even when it is not apparent to me, I know that divine order is always unfolding in my life and in the world. And the scripture: the earth produces of itself first the stalk, then the head, then the full grain in the head. Mark 4:28. And now, as we continue to focus on prayer, I invite you to relax, let go, and focus on your breath. If you feel comfortable to do so, close your eyes as we take a gentle, slow, deep breath in. And as we release the breath, we relax and release with it all of our external thoughts and concerns. Take another breath in. And on the release, go into our heart space, that sacred space within where we can feel the presence of the divine. God is present in and around us and our loved ones right here and right now, as always. Let us rest in the silence for a moment, holding in prayer yourself and your loved ones. Dear Holy Spirit, in these times of tension and anxiety in our society and the wider world, we remember and affirm your guidance and power indwelling in all of us. We affirm that despite appearances, the world is evolving in your divine order, so that truth will prevail on its many different paths, whatever human free will may choose to do in ignorance or fear. Your limitless power is ours to claim persistently, to affirm truth and love in every situation. We remember and affirm that there is only one source, and that all people and all things are that. There are no divisions in truth. So thank you, blessed Holy Spirit, for these great gifts. And so it is, and so let it be. Amen.
Where I am, God is. Where I stand, God is standing strong. And where I breathe, God is breathing life in and out and through me. As me, where I sing, God is, and where I dance, joy lifts my feet, and where I live, beauty's flowing free, in and out and through me, as me. Oh, where I doubt, God is a faith in me, and where I cry, God is the comfort there, and where I seek, God is the answer, here and now and forever, and ever, and ever. Where I speak, truth is, and where I work, love is my career, and where I play, God is playing boldly, in and out and through me, as me. Where I am, where I stand, and where I play, Oh, God.
Thank you so much, Patricia. That was absolutely beautiful. God certainly is with you, and God is certainly with each and every one of us. Good morning. I am Reverend Christina Garza, and I'm so excited to be here with you this morning. Before I begin, I just really wanted to give a heartfelt thanks to everyone out there. The last time I was on deck here, speaking, I shared with everyone just that I was going through some health challenges. And I just am so humbled and overwhelmed by the outpouring of love that I have received from this community. And so thank you with all my heart. An update, I am doing much better. I still don't know what is quote unquote challenging my body, but that's okay because I have absolute faith that this is all in divine order and that this is for my highest and greatest good. So all is good on that front. So today, I'm really excited. Y'all see my cool, flag in the background, rainbow flag. So June is the series that we decided, Reverend Kurt and I decided to do around the booklet from Unity Worldwide. And it's this really awesome booklet. What the Unity Publications did called Worthy, LGBTQ Stories of Overcoming Rejection and Religion to Find Truth. So this is what it looks like, y'all. Oops, let's see if we can get it. There we go. And you can order it online at www.unity.org. You can download it, or they'll send you a paper copy, or you can do both. So I really encourage everyone to do it. It's really just a beautiful compilation of all these testimonies about living full out, and really stories about coming to truth and coming to living in one's fullness and to just being one's authentic self. And I think that's really one of the amazing things that we can learn from this booklet and from this series in particular, is about how do we live full out? How do we live in our true authentic self and really connect with that oneness, that divine presence, and the divine power? So today I'm going to be talking about the path to authenticity. What is authenticity? How do we know when we're being authentic? And what do we do to cultivate that authenticity? So first, I just want to suggest that authenticity is really about becoming more aligned with the truth of the truth of the self and the higher truth of the world. And when we are more aligned with ourselves, we're better able to attune to the world and harmonize with others and the environment. You know, I came out as a lesbian many moons ago when I was 19 years old, and it was really somewhat anticlimactic, to be quite honest. I mean, many of the stories in this booklet are really just about pain and heartache and rejection. I didn't experience any of that. I was thankful to have a family and friends that accepted me, and part of that too is I was young and in this very radical political moment in my life, and really took on the mantra and the affirmation, I'm here, I'm queer, get used to it. And so the world just kind of aligned to that truth that I really set for myself. So I didn't really have those kinds of things. And sure, there were many things that happened that were not in alignment with beauty, but overwhelmingly, I didn't really do that. But that was not, and that still is not the case for many people in the world. And so I really want to dedicate this service, and I want to hold sacred space for all the young people in the world that are struggling with their sexuality, with their sexual identity, with their gender identity, because it's still happening, and we still haven't created a world that works for them, a world where they feel safe and affirmed and loved. And so I want each and every one of us here today to just really send out some love into the universe for all those young people and let them know that we are here energetically and physically supporting them in their journey. Much has changed, though. The world that I came out in is not the world from, then. We have corporate sponsors. I get emails every day, now, and I've noticed it started last year where, you've got the Gap and Old Navy and DSW and, all these retailers that are sending out pride mailings and, pride clothing. Every retailer is doing pride clothing. That was certainly not the case, even, when I came out, and certainly not from some folks that are older, that when they came out. And so now we have this whole beautiful movement that sometimes I don't even recognize. You really feel old when you don't even recognize your own community, and I see a lot of the young people taking on this whole gender non-binary stance, and I think it's amazing, and there's so much to learn from young folks about the stance that they're taking, about how they're embodying their own authentic selves. I remember a number of years ago, like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I went to the mall with my daughter, who was in high school at the time, and we went to a mall, in the mall, and at one of the stores there, and there was a young person that was there that was a cashier. And I was so taken aback when I looked up and put in our things on the counter, because this person was visibly this mashup, I'll say, of genders. And, I'll say they, because I really don't know what gender identity or what gender pronoun they would use, but they were physically had a beard and hair on their arms, and some look like what we stereotypically think of as male, but they had makeup on, and lipstick, and jewelry, and a tube top and mini skirt. And so it would just was so jarring to me at first, because again, I come from an old school where there was not necessarily that. There may have been transgendered, where you took on a different gender identity, but not this idea of just being everything and anything, and that it was fantastic. And the first thing I thought of after I sort of got over just the visual shock of, wow, this is amazing, I thought to myself, this is brave. I mean, you're not just brave of being there and brave of the retailers for standing in their truth and saying that this was something that they were going to affirm and be okay with. But that person saying, this is who I am. I don't have to ascribe to any gender norms. I don't have to ascribe to what you think I need to look like or be like. This is me. And I think that's such a beautiful thing that we can see in these times, is that young people are really, really doing that. But the idea too is that we still live in a world that there is so much fear and hatred and violence against LGBTQ folks. Every catastrophe that happens globally is blamed, especially by many conservative religious leaders, on LGBTQ community. I mean, we even have folks that have come out and said the recent coronavirus is because of the LGBT community's sinful behaviors or what have you. So it still exists. We still have, even just this past week, that our administration reversed health protections for transgendered individuals, which is really scary and alarming when we're dealing with the health issues that we're dealing with right now, that people can be barred from being seen, that physicians can have the right not to see someone, even though they took a Hippocratic oath to serve, and that people might be scared to step forward and seek health care because of the discrimination. We have that. This week, this past week on June 12th, we celebrated, well, I shouldn't say celebrated, we honored, not, we honored the massacre. It was the 4th anniversary of the Pulse nightclub shooting, where someone killed 49 people that were in a gay club in Orlando. They killed 49 and wounded 53. This was a mass shooting. And most of the victims were actually Latino. They were Latinx because they were hosting a Latin night that day. It was the deadliest incident in the history of violence against LGBTQ people in the United States, and it was the deadliest terror attack in the U.S. since September 11th attacks that were in 2011. At the time, it was actually the deadliest mass shooting by a single gunman in U.S. history. That was surpassed now, unfortunately, by the Las Vegas shooting. But that happened not that long ago. And there's still young people that are being sent to conversion therapy or kicked out of their house and are on the streets homeless. But yet, the beauty of that is that so many people are still insisting on their authenticity. They're insisting on standing in their truth. And so we here support them today. You know, as I was preparing for today, I kept thinking about a book that I read recently, and we read it for our Divine Feminine book club that we have. We read it for last month, and it's called The Book of Longings by Sue Monk Kidd. Those of you may have seen the movie or read the book, The Secret Life of Bees, then you know that, and you know it is. It's an amazing book. If you haven't read it, oh my gosh, it's a page turner. I recommend it. But the story is written from the perspective of a young woman and her journey during the times of Jesus. And I don't want to give you a spoiler alert, right? But Jesus is, in fact, he has a key role in this fictional piece of story, though much has been pulled from historical accuracies. So the main character, the heroine of the story, her name is Anna. And she, like many of the people in this book, are called or forced to duty, but they have these longings for something more. You know, they have this knowing of who they are and who they're meant to be, despite what life around them tells them, despite what their family and community may tell them about who they are and who they are supposed to be. And I love that in the book, the heroine Anna says that her role in life is to be a chronicler of lost stories. And so in the book, she's writing all these stories, even though women are not allowed to learn and to write and to read, she secretly is writing all of these stories, particularly about women, that is chronicling their lives and their triumphs, especially. So one of the stories, for example, you know, she says is that she chronicles the story of a young girl who was actually her friend that was raped. And she goes out into the streets and publicly accuses her challenger. And so this becomes a huge disruption because in that time you didn't challenge as a woman, you didn't challenge, especially men or people with power, but she was brave and she went literally out into the streets. And unfortunately, she was not only beaten by her family, but her tongue was cut out. Her tongue was literally cut out because so she could speak no more and speak such quote unquote blasphemies and be out of her place. And then she was even sold later by her family into slavery. Again, I won't give you the spoiler alert, but know that this book is all about tragedy, yes, but it's about triumph and resilience and about the ferocious spirit. And it's about being authentic. It's about listening to that small voice. You know, Anna at one point writes out this prayer, and she writes out this prayer, and I want to read it because I think it's so beautiful. She says, Lord, our God, hear my prayer, the prayer of my heart. Bless the largeness inside me, no matter how I fear it. Bless my reed pens and my inks. Bless the words I write. May they be beautiful in your sight. May they be visible to eyes not yet born. When I am dust, sing these words over my bones. She was a voice. So it gives us this beautiful kind of window into the idea that we are all here to be a voice, to give voice, that is really the legacy that we all have, that we share. And it's about being authentic. It's about moving past the expectations and the conventions of life to the truth of our core, to the things that make our hearts sing, to the things that we know are why we are here in this iteration of life. So then what is that process to authenticity? I think first it's asking the question, as the book says, what is your longing? What are you longing for? What is there something that may keep you up at night, or that you keep coming to, or that you see in an advertisement or in a song that keeps reminding you, your soul is stirring and reminding you that there is something you need to do, there's something you need to say, there's someone you need to be, that you have been called here. So what is that longing? Spend some time thinking about what is that longing? Pray and ask for guidance about what is that longing that you may have. And the second is to affirm that part of yourself. You write down, like Anna did, your longing into a prayer so that it becomes this manifestation. The truth of your being that you know, you write it into a prayer, and you may pray it daily or many times a day to really remind yourself of who you've come here to be. You use that prayer as an affirmation. One of the characters that's her mentor, Anna's mentor, says to her in the book, when the longing of one's heart is inked into words and offered as a prayer, that's when it springs to life in God's mind. Return to your longing. It will teach you everything. So your longing will teach you everything. The third thing then is to surround yourself with people who support you and support your voice. Things, maybe it's a book club, maybe it's a class, maybe it's, I don't know, therapy, whatever it is that is supporting you to actually be able to find that authenticity, to really manifest that longing that you have. And the fourth is to take the steps to allow that voice to soar. They could be small changes and even things that you wear. I'll give you one brief example. I took my mom to a mall last year, and she saw this pair of high top sneakers. And she said, "Oh, I'm too old. I'm in my 70s. What 70-year-olds wear high top sneakers?" And I said, "I guess you're the 70-year-old that's going to wear high top sneakers, because that's really what you want." And so she, after much debate, decided to get her high top sneakers, and she'd walk around in her little cool high top sneakers and was so proud. And then that was something small, but that was something small again of inhabiting her authenticity, of giving herself voice, of giving her body the ability to reconcile with what her soul felt that she was in her youth, in her, beauty, in her power, whatever that meant. So whatever changes you can make in your life, big and small, to feel comfortable in your skin, in your body, and in your power. And you'll know if you're being authentic, because you're going to feel this sense of joy and of lightness and of power. As the Bible tells us, the truth will set you free. You'll feel this sense of freedom that you've never experienced before. It's, freedom is a good thing to talk about today, because we, in a few days, will be celebrating Juneteenth, Freedom Day, Emancipation Day. And that's also part of this Worthy series, is really about the freedom that we want to inaugurate in the world. And on June 19th in 1865 in Galveston, Texas, the troops came and finally announced to folks that were in slavery in Texas that they were free. They had not received the news. Lincoln had given the Emancipation Proclamation 2.5 years before, but the news had not been received in Texas, or it was kept from them. And so when they found out this news, it was this amazing triumph of the spirit. It was this amazing celebration that remains today. And actually, Evanston will be having its first Juneteenth celebration this week, virtually, of course, and Unity North Shore are sponsors of that. And so we're really excited to be part of that. But the idea of Juneteenth has become really popular, especially now, given all that's happening with the Black Lives Matter movement. But it's a reminder to us of our freedom, and not just that, but what Harriet Tubman did. I remember listening to a podcast of Oprah's, and I don't remember if it was her guest, Janet Smock, that said this, but it was about Harriet Tubman was someone who went out and got her freedom, and then she showed others the way. And so that's our journey as well, is like, go out and get your authenticity, go out and get your freedom, and show others the way. I mean, that's what Jesus was about. When we look at, I always think of the story when he goes into the temple, and the money changers are there, and he has this burst of anger, and he throws over the tables and really chastises them for abusing their power and for all the injustices. And I love, like, maybe a month ago, Reverend Kurt talked about this, and he was saying that, the anger was not just about anger, it was an anger that had a purpose. And so it was this tactical disruption, maybe I'll think about it that way. It's like this tactical, was a tactical disruption to be able to call attention to this issue. And so I ask everyone here today, what do we need to speak up about? What do we need to speak up about for ourselves and for others? I can't answer that, but this is a question that we all can rest in. The Black Lives Matter movement is certainly on many of our minds, everything that's happening in the systems today. And it's really about the idea that racism is a system, and it's a system that is not in service to people of color. But the idea really too is that there are many systems, like gender oppression, like oppression over sexual identity, that are not in service to everyone. And so I ask everyone to think about the fact that race is just one of these issues that is so intertwined with all of these other complex and complicated issues. This is not to undermine in any way, shape, or form the importance of what is happening right now. But I saw a meme recently this week, from a Black queer man who wrote this story, and he said that the Black Lives Matter movement will not mean the same. It will not matter fully until Black queer lives matter. And I think that highlights the point, is that as we move forward in these discussions, as we move forward in asking for systems change, we also think about the complicated nature of all these other things that are intertwined. They are part and parcel of the same system that is not working for everyone. There are still children in cages at the border. There's still documented abuse and rampant sexual abuse that has happened and continues to happen, I'm sure, to those children on the border. There's young men and women and children in sexual slavery all over the country. And believe you me, they are here in Chicago too. I know people that has happened to. So we all need to have this idea of what was coined in 1989 by feminist scholar Kimberly Crenshaw, which is this idea of intersectionality, that the interconnected nature of social categorization, such as race, class, and gender, apply to an individual or group, but they're overlapping, and they're interdependent systems of discrimination or disadvantage. And I just remind everyone that it's wonderful that we're talking about worthiness, and it's wonderful that we have this pamphlet, but worthiness means nothing if we are not safe. We have to have safety to be who we are, to be able to walk out into the world and hold someone's hand and it be okay, and not feel that it's a threat every time you walk out your door. And it starts with us. It starts with each and every one of us as we start to explore our own authenticity, as we start to understand and heal that divide within, that we also heal the collective consciousness. Our true self knows this to be true, that we are interconnected, and there's the interconnectedness of all things. And so as we free ourselves, we free others. And as we carve out a space for authenticity, it's part of this process of reorganizing, recognizing the oneness in the universe. It's about freedom in speaking our own truths. So as I conclude, I ask you again, what is your longing? What is the longing of your heart? What have you forgotten about yourself? What fear and deadness of the spirit do you wish to cleanse yourself of? What lays hidden, waiting to be birthed or rebirthed in you? And it's incumbent upon each and every one of us to show up and be authentic. There's no freedom, really, until we are all free, each and every one of us. So begin today by freeing yourselves. Stop hiding who you really are, concealing your truth to just blend in, to be okay. Speak who you are. And when the conditions, you'll know that you're authentic. Whatever the conditions are that are not conducive to that, whether it's your job or your relationship or a family member, what have you, think about what is not being conducive to the manifestation of your authenticity. The road to authenticity may not be easy. I'm going to tell you all now, it's not, but it's so worth it. I want to share with you as I close a quote, and it's a quote from another book. It's a children's book, The Velveteen Rabbit. And those of you may know it or you have read it to your children. And here's what it says. You become. It takes a long time. That's why it doesn't happen often to people who break easily or have sharp edges or who have to be carefully kept. Generally, by the time you are real, most of your hair has been loved off and your eyes drop out and you get loose in the joints and very shabby. But these things don't matter at all because once you are real, you can't be ugly except to the people who don't understand. So claim your realness. The challenge today is to be the brave and beautiful soul that you were meant to be, to reveal your heart to the world, the longing of your heart. And this is the path to alignment and authenticity. As Jesus says to Anna in the book, I bless the largeness in you. So I bless the largeness in each and every one of you, and I bless the fierce, fabulous, and ferociousness in each and every one of you. So go get your freedom and show others the way. Let's take this into a time of meditation, and I'm going to ask first for Patricia to just set the tone for us with some music.
Please let me feel inner peace from the center of me. Please let me feel inner peace from the center of me. My heart is open. I am aware. In me is a knowing of love, love, love. My heart is open. I am aware. In me is a knowing of love, love, love. Please let me feel inner peace from the center of me. Please let me feel inner peace from the center of me.
So I invite everyone to close their eyes. Take a couple deep cleansing breaths. Take those beautiful, beautiful, buoyant breaths. Allow that breath to breathe you as we connect to that peace within, that one presence and that one power that lives and moves in each and every one of us. And in this sacred space, we allow for that energy to grow. We allow for that interconnectedness between each and every one of us to grow. We allow it to fill us up, and we allow it to open our minds and open our hearts and open our cores to be able to receive and to give. And in this space, we claim the truth of our being. We claim our authentic selves, and we commit to the path of authenticity. We know and affirm that we are one with the Christ presence, that we are one with the powerful universe. We are one with nature. We are one with each other. And we inhabit this beautiful peace and grace every day, no matter what is happening within and around us. And as we affirm this space, we say prayers for all those who are suffering right now. Perhaps it might be ourselves, whether it's through health challenges or transitions in life, jobs, what have you. So we pray for all those, and we send our energy out to everyone in the world as our heart expands, as we feel that light taking over our entire bodies, and we send it out into our communities, into our city, into our state, into our country, into our world. We see this peace of God just manifesting everywhere, going into all the dark places, into all these hidden coves to reveal the truth of the light. We are essential workers. We are essential light bearers, and we claim this identity and this role here and now as we shed light, as we shed truth, as we shed voice to all that needs to be said and done. And we claim our own authentic path, that we are shown who we need to be, what we need to do, and how we inhabit that deep and true sense of the God within. And we ask this in the name and through the nature of the Christ power, the Christ within. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen.
Please let me feel inner peace from the center of me. Please let me feel inner peace from the center of me. Inner peace.
So let's just stay in this wonderful spiritual energy as we prepare now to receive our tithes and offerings. Our center and ministries are completely supported through your tithes and offerings. While it may be tempting to hold tight during times of uncertainty, remember that giving, tithing, and sharing our good raises our spiritual consciousness. At Unity on the North Shore, we're proud that we practice the law of giving and receiving by tithing. We tally up all the unrestricted income we receive and then write and mail checks totaling 10% of those gifts to organizations or individuals who have nurtured and empowered us as a spiritual community. We also share our tithes with others whose work supports our mission of co-creating a world that works for all. And if you're joining us from another spiritual community, we're so happy to have you with us. Please remember to support your home church or center too. Giving and the time of sequestering for safe and simple timing. Links and instructions are being entered on the chat stream, and you see it here on the screen. You can text the word GIVE to 815-827-6052. You can mail a check to 3434 Central Street, Evanston, Illinois, 60201. It's there on the screen. Or you can give online at our website. Your generosity empowers us to continue our work toward creating a world that works for all by sharing principles and practices for abundant spiritual living. And now Reverend Christina will do the Prosperity Declaration.
Myself, there we go. So if everyone could say it out loud and proud, even if we're at home alone, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
Mama told me when I was young, we are all born superstars. She rolled my hair and put my lipstick on in the glass of her boudoir. There's nothing wrong with loving who you are, she said, 'cause he made you perfect, babe. So hold your head up, girl, and you'll go far. Listen to me when I say I'm beautiful in my way, 'cause God makes no mistakes. I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. Don't hurt yourself with regret, just love yourself and you said I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. Oh, there ain't no other way, baby, I was born this way. Baby, I was born this way. Ooh, there ain't no other way, baby, I was born on the right track. Baby, I was born this way. You don't need diamond rings or 18-karat gold. Fancy cars that go very fast, you know they never last. No, no. What you need is a big strong love to lift you to your higher ground. Make you feel like a queen on a throne that will love you till you can't come down. Come on, sing. Don't go for second best, baby. Put your love to the test. You know you got to go on, express how you feel, and maybe then you know that love is real. Express yourself, you got to do it. Express yourself, hey, 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 hey. So if you want it right now, go on and show them how. We're on the right track, baby, we were born this way. Don't be a drag, just be a queen, and everything in between. Right track, baby, we were born this way. I love you just the way you are. Be your own shining star. Right track, baby, we were born this way.
Thank you, Patti. That was wonderful. And please, if you're interested in listening to more of Patty's music and how to purchase her music, please check out the chat box. She left information there, and you can also check online at our website. And now our youth blessings from Kate.
Good morning, family. So wonderful to see you all this morning. You would be so blessed to hear the conversations that we've been having in our soul school online. We were doing our unit on fair and unfair, and today's discussion of what is unfair was really about everything that's been going on in our world the past couple of weeks. We are blessed that our children understand unfairness, inequality, and that they stand for creating a level playing field for all. And so today we took a deep dive into these very difficult discussion points. And our kids are taking action. They're marching, they're writing letters, they're being the good that's in the world. And so you would be so proud of them, I know. We had a wonderful conversation, heartfelt conversation, both about our pain, our anger at what has been, and our stepping forth into the good of what will be when we make it so. So thanks to all of our kids who took part in that discussion today. And we know that they are the change that we want to see in the world. They're creating it right here, right now, in a beautiful spiritual community that you all helped create for them. So thank you so very, very much. Let's bless these beautiful beings of light because they're awesome in every single possible way. So together, we're going to say, children and teens, we love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. We behold the Christ as you, and we see you doing great things. And so it is.
It is. Thank you so much, Kate. Thank you so much to everyone, to Patti for the amazing music. Love this song. We are definitely on the right track here at Unity North Shore. So thank you for all of that. A couple things before we wrap. I wanted to remind folks that we in Unity are deep prayer people, and so there's many options for you if you need prayer. We have our you can request prayer support, of course, here in the chat, but there's other options as well. You'll be seeing them shortly. You can go to Unity's online prayer support here in Unity North Shore. So you can send us, if you'll go onto our website on the main page, you'll see a banner that shows where you can click for prayer support. There's another option as well. Via phone, we have a telephone prayer support line, and the number is there on the screen. And of course, we have Unity Worldwide that is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 1-800-NOW-PRAY. There's also a Spanish-speaking line. I don't have that information, but you can see it on the website, or we can put it maybe in the chat if we find it. So 1-800-NOW-PRAY. They're amazing. Anytime, 24 day or night, you need prayer. Thank you again to each and every one of you for being here. I love you all very much. Thank you to this amazing team, and we'll see you next week. And now we'll have Patti sing us home.
Me and the birds outside, I don't know if you can hear them. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. Family all are harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me.
Now let's join together in saying the prayer protection. The words are not on your screen. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine. Happy Sunday, everyone. Garden Chat.